Hey folks, welcome to PlayBranson, the show about the shows where you get to know the Branson entertainers better. I'm your host, Chris Meyer, and on the show today, I have Mike Walker and Tamara Dawn with several shows. Bon Jour, Lasting Impressions, Conway Remembered, and maybe some ones that you haven't heard of before as well. They're located at the Columns Theaters. Now, it's been 3 years since Mike has been on the show, so we're glad to have Mike back talking about what he's been up to. Now, if you're a tourist and you want the complete picture of dining in Branson, folks, you need to check out the Flavor of Branson Dining Guide. It's located all over town. It's free. There's lots of coupons in the book, and that can help stretch your vacation dollar further. So be sure to pick up a Flavor of Branson Dining Guide while you're here in Branson. Now, today's episode is brought to you by ibranson.com, and you can plan your entire Branson vacation on ibranson.com. Here's the deal. If you're looking for who's playing tonight in Branson, maybe what shows open, what attractions open, you can now go to our website at thevacationchannel.com and see Branson show and attraction schedules. Click on the schedule button in the top right corner. We're going to be back with Mike Walker and Tamara Dawn in just a moment, so don't go away. Have you seen our new Play Branson magazine? Well, if you want to know more about Branson's shows, attractions, golf, the lakes, and more, you need to get the Play Branson magazine. It's free. It's located all over town in racks, so be sure to pick up a Play Branson magazine. Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. On today's show, I have Mike Walker and Tamara Dawn. Welcome to the show. Mike, you've been on the show before, but it's been several years. And Tamara, this is your first time on the show.
Absolutely. Delighted to be here. Thank you for having us.
Good to have both of you here. Typically, we talk about history. Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about your history first, and then Tamara, we can hear from you as well.
Well, I was born in 1975. I'm kidding. No, I really was. But I started here in Branson with Mickey Gilley, and I've been here about 20 years.
Yeah, but you have a lot more history than that. You condensed it. We got to go way back because you started this as a young age.
Mm-hmm. It's 5 years old.
Yeah, tell people about that.
So I started out at 5 years old listening to Elvis Presley music. My mom made me a bunch of outfits, and I started impersonating Elvis. And about 13 years old, I threw my last cape out, and that was the end of that. And then I started listening to country music, and I started listening to rock and roll music. And my dad had a bunch of cassette tapes of some of the 50s and 60s music, and I started listening to that. So I absorbed so much music in different genres. I never did really latch on to jazz or opera or classical music, but everything else was fair game. If I loved singers,
Voices that stood out,
like stylists, but singers. You know, the ones that really just was able to really captivate your ear. I call that ear candy, and those kinds of artists really they really touch my feelings, you know.
And so where did it go from there? Because you're doing Elvis as a little kid, but obviously you kept on in this business.
Yeah, I started dabbling in country music, the 80s country music artists, and my mom had some records, and those are vinyl, and yeah, sometimes you gotta explain that stuff, man.
Yeah.
But she had a Conway Twitty album. She had some Tammy Wynette records. She had Elvis records, and I just started dabbling in that area. And my mom's a great singer too, and she sounds like Tammy Wynette, and so she had a band. Before then, I just sang with, tracks and things like that. And then she had this band that she would go and do shows with, and I used to get up and sing with her band. And I think I knew about 3 songs at the time, fully, and started singing with her band some, and during practice, of course. And then as I got a little older, I started listening to the Righteous Brothers and the Everly Brothers, and I formed my own band. And that was interesting because when you sing with tracks, you're kind of stuck with what you got. You don't, it's like being on, it's like a dog being on the paper, you know? And then when you have a band, you have a little bit more freedom of being able to manipulate the songs and things like that to make it your own. And so I started I moved to Jackson, Tennessee, and that's right between Memphis and Nashville, and it's a home of rockabilly music, and I got to know Carl Perkins real well. I started working with him some. He introduced me to a ton of different artists from that era, like the Coasters and the Drifters and all those guys, the Platters, the Diamonds, just everybody you could possibly think of. And I got to work with a lot of those acts at that age. And then I started doing rockabilly music, and then I started working with Elvis Presley Enterprises on the property there, and doing some voiceovers for their commercials and soundtracks. And
now, were you at that point sounding like Elvis? Or
yes,
okay,
yeah.
So that Elvis from your youth comes back later on,
and just it's instilled. Well,
and you worked there numerous years.
Yeah, I worked there for about 12 years off and on. Doing their voices for their commercials and things. I think I did about 148 Tennessee tourism commercials as the voice of Elvis. And then there was some other odds and ends stuff, like if you go to Graceland, there's I got to be the voice of Elvis, like talking voice for a lot of their little
merchandise,
plush animals, you know.
Okay.
And if you push the button, it says, "Thank you very much." That was me.
There you go. Now we know if there's some trivia there.
Yeah. So I got all the great jobs.
There you go. Tamara, let's talk a little bit about your background in this business.
Yes. Well, my granny was Loretta Bowman, so she got to go on tour with Kitty Wells and Johnny Wright and Ernest Tubb, Buck Owens. So I kind of got, just coached from the best of the era. So now coming to Branson, she was one of the first ones. She got to perform at Silver Dollar City at Echo Hollow when I was just new. And so the last time I could remember performing there with her I was about 4, and Kitty Wells was out there with her. And so, as our kids was raised with Mickey Gilley as, a papa, an extra, that's how I was with Miss Kitty. And so just learning from the best, and now to be able to be here in Branson and performing with Mike in the Conway Remembered show. I do Loretta Lynn, so getting to emulate her and be there is just such an honor, and just, it has home roots back to my family being in it, as well as somebody that I get to give tribute to that was an artist of, her time. She was she parted ways for stylists like myself and entertainers. So
yeah,
I'm honored to be here and excited to see what comes. I've been singing for a long time. As I got older, I was here with Miss Brenda Lee at 17 when she was over at the Meltillis Theater. And then in 2008, we got married, and I started doing the Angels of Country Music at God and Country Theater. And then now we're trying to bring some of that back. We've got 4 children, and with heavy schedules and, school and college and all the things,
yes,
we're trying to come back to all the fun shows that we want to give the people in the audience to be able to have a chance to come see.
Yeah. So, Mike, you mentioned Mickey Gilley. You worked for Mickey Gilley some, but obviously at some point you broke out on your own on shows. And so talk about that. And how long have you been doing shows here in Branson?
Well, I came here at the end of 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came here at about the end of 2005 just to kind of check things out. When I met Mickey, it wasn't in Branson, it was in Nashville. And he had come to one of my I was playing at Legends Corner, and I was doing a songwriter thing over there. And I was singing I was doing impressions as well to fill in the gaps, because we had like a 4-hour period, which, it was great to be able to do that, because you were able to sing the songs that you just finished writing to see if the audience would even like them. Because that's the best way you can tell the song's any good, is how an audience reacts. So I wanted to do that. And I had some great musicians there that were also songwriters that would try some of their songs out. But anyway, Mickey Gilley was actually in town that night with John Anderson, and they were doing a birthday party for Larry the Cable Guy across the street. And so they came over after the party was over, and I had done a few Conway songs, and Conway Twitty, not Tim Conway.
Yeah.
And so he comes up to me during the break. He goes, "Hey man," he goes, "you need to come to Branson. They really like Conway Twitty in Branson. That's where he performed." And I said, what's a Branson? I never heard of the place, never even heard of it, which is insane once I got here and understood what Branson was, why it's not worldwidely known. I mean, we have everything that there is to possibly have here. I mean, we have everything for everybody. If you can't be entertained in Branson, you can't be entertained.
That's true.
For sure.
And I meet people every day that still have no clue what Branson is. Now, they're not in Branson when that happens, right? I'm traveling somewhere else. I'm like,
oh, I tour in the summer months.
Yeah.
I'm in like several states, and it's amazing to me how many people. I ask the question. I tell them I'm from Branson, and then I say, "How many of you have been in Branson?" And there's nobody that raises their hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on?
Which in return has promoted a lot of people coming to Branson, finding our shows, and making it a trip. And then they're like, how did we not know this was here? There's, water parks,
it's
hotels.
It's a best kept secret. It's a secret. Now, in the Midwest, a lot of people know about it. But as you go further away, it's definitely a secret. Okay, I'm going to stop here, folks. We'll be back in just a second. So hang tight.
Going to Branson for some relaxation and fun? You've got to stay with Branson's award-winning hotel family, Meyer Hotels. Meyer Hotels features 4 hotels in Branson with the best locations for your trip. Choose from brands you know and trust, like the Holiday Inn Express on Green Mountain Drive, the Best Western Centerpoint Inn, Comfort Inn at Thousand Hills, and the Comfort Inn and Suites. Enjoy refreshing indoor pools and hot tubs. Do you like free? How about a free hot breakfast each morning? Free vacation planning services, and of course, smiles are always free. Want even more value? Go to MeyerHospitality.com and join our e-club to save 15% off your next stay and check out incredible deals with our vacation packages. Call 1-877-FUN-STAY to book Branson's award-winning hotels or visit MeyerHospitality.com. It's your safe choice for award-winning lodging in Branson. MeyerHospitality.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I've got Mike Walker and Tamara Dawn, and we've been talking about history, and Mickey Gilley really influenced you to come to Branson. And so you come, and then you start doing some stuff with him, but also your own show.
Right. He invited me here, and I came and I visited, and I started working at his theater. I had a 5 o'clock show, which I didn't know if that was going to work or not, because it's when people eat. So that was the only slot he had in his theater.
I was say Gilley was at 8. He had the main slot.
And then Joey Riley was at 2. So, and then Les Brown was at 10. So he had 10, 2, and 8. And Mickey's show always started at 7:45, where they would do a pre-show. So he would ask me to come out to the theater to promote my show, and I got to get on stage, and when Mickey was playing, he would play the piano while I was singing.
Yeah.
So that in itself was amazing. And then over the years, he was just he's very missed because not only was he an incredible entertainer, but he was a dear friend.
Let's talk about the shows that you have been in or are going to be doing And so you've got a couple different shows. So tell people about the shows that you're part of.
Well, as of right now, we're doing the Conway Remembered Show, which features the music of Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn. We added Loretta Lynn to the show this year. It's really interesting because Conway and Loretta had such an incredible relationship. They were so close friends, and you can see that in their performance. I think she's the one that when Loretta was on the shows with Conway, it really brought his identity out as a person because he opened up a little more.
He would talk and banter.
Yeah, he would banter and stuff.
Shows he wanted.
Most of the time when you saw Conway, he didn't say anything to the audience.
Interesting.
He never said a word. Actually, his band member announced the songs even. But he had so many hits. He had 55 number one hits.
That's amazing.
That's what he would say. He would say that, well, they didn't come to hear me talk.
They come to hear me sing. And he wanted to get as many songs in as he possibly could. But where Loretta came into factor on that is that Conway would have never been in country music had it not been for Loretta Lynn. He left rock and roll, and he wanted to do country. Country was in his heart. And so one night he just got up and left the stage. He got in the middle of the song. He just set his guitar down and left. And everybody in the band was gone. I mean, he was gone. And he moved, and he went to Nashville, and he had a friend that was a producer in Nashville. And at that time, he was recording Loretta Lynn. And so Conway went to the studio and met Loretta Lynn, and that was it was over after.
And Loretta had already known who Conway was at the time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that she had a picture of Conway on her wall, a poster of Conway. It was the only poster she ever had. And it was of Conway in the rock and roll years. It was It's Only Make Believe that did it.
So Loretta was already a fan before they become friends.
So people, when they're going to come, they're going to get a lot of history.
They're going to get a lot of history.
They're going to get, and of course, 55 number one hits. That's a lot of hits.
We don't do them all.
Yeah, you don't do them all. So that's one show. You have another show.
Yes, Lasting Impressions. That's, it's there's so much that goes on in that show. It's a difficult show for me to do.
Because you're doing a whole bunch of impressions, right? And you
There's
can
like
do
60 some different voices.
67 different impressions in a 2-hour period.
But it's different genres. But it's all music that I like. People ask me, well, how do I pick my songs? Well, I won't sing their songs if I don't like them, because I don't think it does the artist justice, and it doesn't do the audience justice, because I'm not able to give 110% because I don't like the song, or the artist particularly.
So when you say let's talk about this. 60 different. Is that different artists?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have trained yourself how to be able to sing like 60 different entertainers. Like, that's crazy. Like, not very many people can do that.
I am crazy, Chris.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've been doing this show for quite a while in Branson as well.
You
Right?
say that's awesome. You should road trip with him.
I can just see going through a drive-through with him. Like, he could pull out all those voices.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I do a lot of things that I shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And then drive in.
Embarrasses our kids immensely.
Yeah. Well, here's what I do. Okay, and we'll just say this. While we're talking about embarrassment and drive-thrus, is I go through drive-thrus. Typically, I will order a free smile. Try that sometime and see what happens, because if that person is in a bad mood, if they smile, it changes their whole demeanor, and you can hear it through the intercom. Now, people think I'm crazy.
No, I agree. Amen.
But it's all about service, right? So try that and see what happens. Okay, you have another show, a new show as well, that's coming up here at Christmas time.
It's the Walker Family Christmas Show. We did a test run with that show. We did it on the road first. And the kids were small. They were little bitty, tiny babies, basically. And
they loved it.
They just loved it. And it was a lot of fun, because I've been doing this song and dance for forever, for over 40 years. It sounds so terrible. But retrospect of everything, you know, the most important thing for me is family. And to be able to work with your family and do that and to watch your kids get up on stage and they change, watch them changing how they perceive the audience or how they
learn
relate.
so much.
They learn tons. My son goes on the road with me on the summer months, and man, it's just an amazing thing because it's a bond you don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, and that I think that helps define the entertainment in Branson because there's so much family entertainment. And I tell people, this is unique. You're not going to find this other places. Okay, I want you to tell people where you are, where they can catch you at, and then let's talk about dates and times if you can.
Mm-hmm. The Conway Remembered show is always on Tuesdays.
At 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m. And the Impression show is always on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. And then the Christmas show will be on Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Okay, so you're doing 3 days a week, 3 different shows, and they're all at the Columns Theater, correct?
The Columns Theater.
And so, folks, if you don't know where that is behind the Olive Garden. That's the easiest way to describe it.
That's landmark.
Yep. Everybody knows where the strip
dinner
is.
and join us at 8 p.m.
That's
Tuesday,
right.
Wednesday, and Thursday.
And so I show the lasting impressions in Conway Remembered going through December 23rd, and then will the Walker Family Christmas be going about
At
that
the
same time?
We start, well, you know how Branson is. It starts November 1st.
Okay.
Christmas. We skip the most important holiday there is. Thanksgiving.
Now, you also launched a new show earlier this year, and I want you to just highlight that for just a moment.
It's a phenomenal show.
Bon Jour. Bon Jour is the concept was interesting that when I first came up with the concept of it, you know, those two bands, you don't think of them as mirrored bands.
Now, tell them which 2 bands.
The Bon Jovi and Journey. Okay. They have the same instrumentation, and both of them have the keyboards in them, but their music's completely different. It's insane. Of course, Journey started way before Bon Jovi did in the 70s, but they didn't really get real popular until Steve Perry came into the band, and that was like 78, 79. And so that led it into the 80s, where the 80s bang happened with Bon Jovi. And
Talk about Mike not wanting to do things like artists or songs that he doesn't like. This is where you get to see Mike in super rare form because this is his era. This is what he absolutely loves. He grew up to it, and it shows.
It's a rock show
every night.
Yeah. It's not a show. It's a concert.
It's a concert, yeah.
So the question, and maybe you don't know the answer to this yet, is will it be back next year?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So
It goes on tour a lot. So
yeah, we tour quite a bit, extensively with that, with all the shows. The Impression show, I tour with that in the summer months with the fairs and festivals and things like that. We do a lot of corporate things, and
So if anybody would want to see our shows, primarily we're in the spring and in the fall in Branson areas when our shows are primary here.
And you can get on the website to check it out at the Columns.
Okay. Folks, here's the deal. We got to wrap the show up. You still can catch Mike Walker and his shows. I'm going to try and get this right. Lasting Impressions, Tuesdays at 8. Conway Remembered, Wednesdays at 8. And then the Walker Family Christmas is going to be what day?
Walker Family Christmas will be Thursday, but that's flip-flop. Conway's Tuesday.
Oh, I got it wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. Conway Remembered,
Anybody's one,
Tuesday at 8 p.m. Mike Walker Lasting Impressions on Wednesday at 8 p.m. And the Walker Family Christmas will be Thursdays, 8 p.m. at the Columns Theater, directly behind the Olive Garden.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you remembered that and corrected me because we want to get it right.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Yep. One last question. 50, 60 impressions. What do you have a favorite?
I like them all.
Like them all.
I like them all. I don't do anybody's voice I don't like.
There you go.
Now, some are harder than others. It's the most taxing show that I do.
Do you do Donald Trump or do you just only do singers? Just singer?
You know, I got a lot of flack years ago for doing political figures. Because I was doing Ronald Reagan, I was doing George
and nothing
Bush.
was rude. Like it was a
No, it was
fun
just-
bit. Like
it
the
was
banter,
fun.
he would walk around the podium and then come back and be another
Do
president.
Richard Nixon. I would do all these different
George
voices.
Bush.
Yeah. But it was just like people got so up in the air about it. I was like,
It's not about hurting people's feelings or trying.
I don't care about that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I'm the most unpolitically correct guy in the world.
Okay. There we go. Well, at least now I know. So, folks, go check their shows out. They've been in town for a long time. You have limited dates. You can still see them this year. So go to the columns and check out one of their shows. We'll be back in just a second to wrap the show up.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We've been talking to Mike Walker and Tamara Dawn. Now Mike has lots of shows that you can find at the Columns Theater. He's got Lasting Impressions, which is on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. through the end of December. He has Conway Remembered, which is on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. through December 23rd. And then his Walker Family Christmas will be on Thursdays at 8 p.m. in the Christmas season. That theater is right behind the Olive Garden at 3750 West 76 Country Boulevard. Now, if you need help booking tickets for any of Mike Walker's shows or any other show or attraction in Branson, be sure to call the folks at ibranson.com. You can call them at 877-ENTERTAIN, or you can go online to ibranson.com to start planning your Branson vacation. Now, we always tell you this, but you can find past episodes on social media of Play Branson, on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. We'd love for you to subscribe to us at Play Branson on YouTube, or you can also find us on thevacationchannel.com. Folks, be sure to support live entertainment. Go see a show. That's it for today. We'll see you next week here on Play Branson.